We're in the middle of filming all the videos for the BERNINA L 850 serger, and I just thought I'd stop because a lot of people ask me about the quilts that are behind the serger, and today we have hanging on the wall. Over here on the right is our BERNINA Stitching Cosmos online course quilt, where you watch me stitch over 25 different sewing machine techniques using 18 different presser feet, all on a BERNINA. So we will put links up here in this top corner where you can check out that course. And then over on the left are some of the quilts I have made from our Embroidery Essentials online course. So if you have an embroidery machine, I would love to invite you over to learning how to master that machine, learning 15 different embroidery techniques, and learning how to use your machine due to doing something over and over and over again with a slightly different outcome. So it's kind of fun. Definitely check out the online courses that we have to offer. We're going to get into a 3-thread rolled hem next, and I want to show you how easy it is to switch over on this new serger from BERNINA. One of the most popular stitches that a serger is used for is a rolled hem. It puts that nice, soft, delicate, and narrow edge on the edge of fabrics. It could be used for hems, it could be used for curtains, scarves, or any place that you don't want to have to turn under that edge. It is usually meant for lighter weight fabric, so if you are thinking of a thicker fabric, you might need to choose a different stitch. But going from a 4-thread overlock to a 3-thread is really actually a couple steps. So it's very easy to go from having 2 needles and going down to 1 needle. For a 3-thread rolled hem, you're going to clip the thread and remove the left needle. So you also want to remove the thread that was in the left needle, because if you leave that hanging out over here, it does get lonely and goes and visits those friends. Then remember, open up the door and find your screwdriver and the handheld needle threader. That is my fun little tool to use to help catch that needle when I loosen it. It is the top screw that you're removing, and then just give it a little wiggle and the needle comes out. Now what do you do with this needle when you have removed it? There's actually a little place right down here where you can actually just put the needle until you need to put it back in the machine. Now before you go any further, don't forget to tighten up that screw just so it doesn't wiggle loose. And then if you do put your tools back into position, you'll have them right where you need them. Okay, next couple things that we need to adjust are the stitch finger needs to be moved from O for overlock to R towards you for rolled hem. Now if you push that back in and look down at the needle, you'll see that there's a little finger that's being pulled out of the way. That's what makes the fabric kind of fold over or roll as we do this stitch. Next, we're going to shorten the stitch length. That's the top knob over here, and go down to where the R is. And the last thing you're going to do is tighten the lower looper tension. I usually start by going up to a higher number, 2 to 3 numbers. So I'm going to go up to 6.5 and just see how things look. You still might need to adjust the cutting width just to see if there's too much or not enough fabric being left in the rolled hem. Once you start using a 3-thread rolled hem, it is so delicate and can be used in so many places. Now I'm thankful right now of this serger's speed. It's got 1,500 stitches per minute, which means that doing a rolled hem is going to be very fast. So what you're going to see is that right now I have blue thread in my upper looper, and we tightened the lower looper. So as we flip it over, the blue thread is pulled all the way around to the back side and kind of tucked in. So whatever color you put in the upper looper is going to be what shows on the edge of the fabric. You might put a similar or matching thread in the needle, because that will also show on the front. Wouldn't these be pretty for napkin edges too? Go all the way around and make some beautiful custom napkins out of any fabric that strikes your fancy there. So rolled hem, couple tips. Number 1, you don't always have to put the stitch length so close together. I actually love a stitch length that's a little bit longer, more open, and it goes faster. Plus, make sure you put a little note to remind yourself that when you're done doing a rolled hem, that you push that stitch finger in. This is probably the one thing people forget, and as you go back to, say, a 3-thread or a 4-thread overlock, that it just doesn't look right, and that's because this gets left out. So again, a sticky note until you kind of get the habit of doing it, but just make sure that when you go back everything back to normal, that this needs to be put back to the O setting for overlock. If you're going to work with any decorative threads, you'll reduce the tension in the upper looper for any thicker, heavier threads that you might be putting through there. Also, again, the stitch length might need to be lengthened out so it's not so heavy or dense when you're actually stitching this out.